Welcome back to Dave Northwest. You know, it pays to be prepared, especially in severe weather like we're experiencing now. This Arctic blast has shown us all that. And here to show us what we need to have on hand if we're hitting the road this year or even staying at home is survival expert and avid outdoorsman Brian Brawdy. Nice to have you back on the show, my
Dave,
friend.
thank you. Good to see you as always. Thank you.
This is, for you, this is just a beautiful day out. But for us, a lot of people don't even venture out because they're so worried. A lot of people hitting the road for the holidays. So what should we have in the car before we leave the house?
You know, Greg, that's a day point. The reason that I'm kind of digging it is that I'm prepared for it. It doesn't have to be great weather for me, and other people go, he's nuts. How can he be talking about this being great weather? If we're prepared, then we can look at all weather as just, in fact, that weather. Nothing to be overly worked up about.
Okay, good. Now, one of the things that we, last winter, we had enough stories of people hitting the road, they're on vacation, they're going to family, and they get lost in the wilderness. Hypothermia sets in.
Sure.
How do we protect ourselves against that?
And that's some simple gear. I brought a couple different products.
Okay.
The other day, coming over the Blue Mountains to come and see you all, had to put the chains on the car. That's something that might happen to us around here. I start every survival pack with a pair of Gore-Tex gloves. We've spoken about it before. The reason that I do, they're functionally waterproof, which means they're guaranteed to keep you dry. This particular model on the inside has two compartments, Dave. One for grip, one for warmth. So if I have to work the tire iron, I'm out this way. If I'm hunkered down inside or not worried about it, I can then slide in the other compartment on that glove. Guaranteed to keep you dry.
And I would bet that you're smart enough that when you have those, when you pack those in the car, these are in the car. These are not in the car. Sometimes in the garage. These aren't gloves you're using for every day. They are emergency gloves only.
They are. Well, and I leave them in the car. I'll leave some in the glove box. In my Yakima, you know, I have one of the sky boxes I put all my gear in. And you raise a valid point. Keep them close to you. Let's say your car slides off the road. That's not the time to be whipping through the trunk finding gear. Keep them close by.
All right, good.
This is another one. A lot of people don't think about it. Regular old Ziploc baggie. I brought this. This is a piece of fleece. It's called goat gear from backcountry. The reason that I put it in a Ziploc baggie, let's say you slide out, you get out of the car, you're moving around, you start to sweat.
Right.
If you get wet, our body will donate its heat 23 times faster when it's wet than when it's dry. So I'll keep a piece of goat gear in a bag like this so I know it's nice and dry. Put that on, then I'm not worried about starting to shiver and the like. The Gore-Tex on the outside, like a mountain hardware jacket, but fleece on the inside. You want to keep it warm and dry.
Right.
Now, I brought a couple of other things from Adventure Medical Kits. This is the first one to show you. It's called their bivy. They have a heat sheet blanket and a bivy, but look at this, Dave. This small in terms of a package. But this is my lifeline. If I am caught inside, say there's a power outage, I don't have any heat, or I slide off the road in my car, this is like a sleeping bag. But it reflects 80% of your body's heat right back into you. So I'll have one of these. Go ahead.
Yeah, don't slide on the ice.
Climb in. Isn't that something? Waterproof, windproof, reflecting my own body's heat right back to me.
Even if you're stuck inside a car. Even if you're stuck bundle up inside of that.
I leave these in the car. You never can tell. If the roads are bad, emergency folks might be helping 100 other people before they ever get to you.
A guy drove off the road, a car into a creek overnight. Hypothermia sets in just locally. Just in you know.
And remember, hypothermia can take us. It's the leading killer of people in the outdoors, Dave, because hypothermia affects our brains in a pretty amazing way. And then, of course, the first aid kit. I brought one from Adventure Medical Kits.
Very good idea. And you know, it doesn't take up a lot of space.
Not at all. But here's what I dig about it. The compartments, designed by a medical doctor, hospital-quality instruments. But look at this. When you open up the first aid kit, there's a little card telling you exactly what to do. Medications, sprains, wound care, that kind of thing, all packed in this kit. You don't want to be in a panic situation, dump out a first aid kit and go, now what do I do? Right. It's all right in there
for
you.
Good point. All right, well, you have some other things
I brought remember, the best coat is a good hat, our mom used to tell us. This is one from Windstopper. The reason that I use this, I don't have to worry about convective heat loss. When we hear about wind chill, Dave, it's because, as you know, the wind blows across our body, robs that 1 millimeter microclimate. Well, when you have a product from Windstopper, then you don't have to worry about wind chill. So I put a good hat in that same bag, keep it with me.
Good
of course, a headlamp.
Right.
Keep a headlamp. If I have to change a tire, if I have to put on my chains, if I have to do anything else, it's a lot easier with a headlamp on. My hands are free. Say I have to get a little one out of the car or I have to fumble around. Good thing to have a headlamp.
Do you keep all of these things together in like one box in the trunk?
One little bag.
You just everything fits into that bag.
Everything will fit into the bag, and then that way I know. And then we talked about this last time we were together, the spot unit. And before I should probably say that a lot of what we do.
Is this a GPS?
It does. What will happen if you get in an emergency situation, you hit a button, it finds you within 5 meters, anywhere on the earth in 5 minutes, and calls out to rescue authorities.
Right.
But there's things we can do, Dave, before we leave. You know, a lot of people say, what happens once you're in an adventure? Make sure your vehicle is set. There's a company here in town, Roadmaster. Make sure you have the reflex steering stabilizers or the sway bars. Make sure that you've got enough gas in your vehicle. Make sure the tires are inflated properly.
There you go.
And the number one point, if I can before we, number one point, let folks know where you're going.
And how you're getting there.
Hey, Dave called me. He's supposed to be here in an hour. If it's 3 hours late and I haven't seen you, then I go, Dave's a pretty dependable guy. If he says he's coming, I can count on the people that we find, the people that we rescue in bad weather. We find them because people know they're lost. Yeah. If you and I don't tell anyone, we hop in the car and we go, how's everyone going to know?
So have a travel plan.
Have a travel plan.
Right,
let folks know in advance for sure.
Folks, we've got your tips and your info on our website at KHE.com. Good to see you again.
Good to see you, my
I know
friend,
you'll stay warm.
I'm looking forward to the weather. I'm a little bit of a nut.
All right, very, very good. All right.